slow. I think my mic should be good. I'll check that in a second. Sure. This paste this over to, where is it? Here. Broadcast. Alright. Hello and welcome everybody to, well, as the title says, Raceday. A pre-race show that is going on currently for 30 minutes up until 8 o'clock when we obviously have the race. I'm quickly doing stuff because we have a guest with us for the first time. Not right now, but he will be here in the next couple minutes or so. Obviously. We'll also have some people, well-known drivers in the league, stopping by for this pre-race show before we go on to the race, where we should see a lot of action and hopefully some interesting racing. That really, I think that's all that needs to be said. We've had two good Daytona 500s before this, so another one obviously will not hurt. I think I did the... Yep. I have a little schedule kind of planned out already for how we're gonna approach this pre-race stuff. We don't really have anything going on much, except for just kind of talking about the track and what we should expect this, what we should expect at least. That's what the first 10 or so minutes will be until we get to around 7:40, 7:45. That's when we will start getting guests to stop by and talk. I already have some stuff prepped for that when we get to that point. Again, I do have to say, no, well, not again, but I do have to say this. Hold on, actually. Alright, but this will be the last Wingstop race on this channel. On the Goat Small channel, we'll move over to the Wingstop Racing League channel. That's already made, it's already there. This race was going to be on that, however, due to some stuff, it's not on that. Now we have my partner for this race, Hoy, is here now to help me broadcast the race as we have pre-race stuff going on. Welcome, Hoy, to the, I won't say booth yet because we're technically not in the booth, but yeah, welcome. Make sure your voice share is on, so. Alright. Yeah. Hendrick might be... I did ask Hendrick if he could potentially get, if he was open to being interviewed at 7:40. However, I have not heard from him at all of today. So, I don't know. But I know Zach and Grega, who are the other two, are definitely going to be, open for that, so... because I already texted them, so that will be stuff in the next 10-15 minutes. That will be kind of the type of stuff we see. Anyways, knowing it being Daytona, Hoy, what do you expect for this race?
Okay, I just switched it to allow, but I think we can expect a lot of too wide maybe in some three wide action. What cars are we in? I'm sorry.
Gen 6.
Gen 6. So we're going to see a lot of two wide action, I believe, but mostly the inside line is going to be really dominant. Early on, I think we're going to see a lot of people being aggressive, trying to get their track position with their teammates to get lined up for the end of the race.
Yep, that is definitely something we have seen in the first two iterations of the 500. However, one thing that, so we're expecting around, from what I can see, like 13, 14, 15, potentially more people, from at least what I've seen in the race attendance and all that stuff. Um, and looking at the races from last season, Super Speedway races, Daytona and Talladega, that have had this many people, the trends have kind of been where um, the first I would say like 20 laps or so are like really filled with wrecks, and then as the race goes on, it gets a lot more cleaner, and the field starts getting split up over cautions, which is something I would expect to see here. Also, this should potentially, if we get enough people, be uh, a 50% race, which is double the length that every other 500 has ever been. So this would be the longest 500, which is going to be a different thing in its own, obviously with no stages. So it's going to be a lot of putting yourself in the right position, not making mistakes, not ruling yourself out. Would be definitely very important to do. All right. Yeah. Hoy, do you have anything to add on to that?
I guess we should go on to keys to win.
Uh,
Um,
we can start off with that, I guess. Then.
I say you got to avoid the big one, especially early on with a big field like this. You're never going to be safe behind you, no matter where you're at on track. But the best place to be is top three, so you can maneuver, make moves early on. So I say that avoid these small mistakes, especially late in the race, like as you said. Um, we're gonna have green flag stops and such, and there's no stages, I believe. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
No stages, so we're gonna have some green flag stops. So avoid speeding, avoid bumping into your teammates, and you need to have good communication on what to take.
Yep. I mean, all those points I definitely agree with, and especially the one don't make mistakes late in the race. We saw Zach make a mistake late in the race um, last season, which ruled him pretty much out of it, even though he led the most laps. Um, but also another thing is, and this absolutely killed Hendrick last season, was speeding in the pits. You cannot make that. The pits is going to be very important. We already kind of mentioned that, but you cannot make a mistake, not lose too much time or speed. Hendrick ended up speeding in the pits last season and ruled him from being in the top 5 to being in 10th place, which was just a killer to his race, and especially being in the last 5 laps. Obviously, we know what happened with Gregor saving, and it wouldn't have mattered really much anyways, but it hurt him a lot and could have potentially cost him the championship, but thankfully he still won it. But yeah, do you have any more, Hoy? Any more keys?
Um, I'd say the best thing you can really do is stick with your teammates, stick with your friends, and make the right moves at the right time. Everybody, especially if you're in the back of the field, the draft is going to be insane. So it's going to get crazy once they get to single file racing. You're going to see a lot of people getting loose, a lot of people hitting each other at the wrong time. So it could get interesting, especially in the first 20 laps, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with, I feel like a little bit of patience is going to have to play into this. As much as you want to get track position, you can't be making moves that get you out of line and lose you that track position. So if you, we'll probably see a lot of guys initially when they get to the front, when they get a run, they just jump out and go for a move. Um, hold on. Well, actually, yeah. But if you can just kind of stay in line and kind of chill for a bit, that will really help and not make those mistakes that bring you back outside the top 10 potentially.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to make the right move at the right time, which is once again one of those things that I said is you're not safe anywhere you are. The best place to be is the top three because, let's talk about the end of the race, right? You don't know when. Well, I'm sure they're gonna know, which is probably within the final 3 laps, is when people are gonna start jumping around trying to get places. But when you have every single person in the field trying to get to the lead, it can get quite dicey. So, you got to make the right blocks, and with the yellow line rule being in play, um, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of reviews at the end too.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was able to contact Hendrick. He might. I'll invite him to the party and see if he does join. So, um, hold on. Hendrick there. Alright. But yeah, just don't make anything stupid, really, and you want to position yourself to be at the front. If you can't win the race on with 5 to go from 10th place most of the time, that usually just doesn't happen because again you need cars with runs, and usually there's not many cars behind you if you're in 10th, unless you're commanding obviously a run. But usually you want to put yourself in the top 5, ideally top 3, I would say, if we're talking last lap. Unless you're leading a run, then I would say you want to be top 3. The leader is probably the best position, but also the worst. Second, there's a lot of pressure on you, and third, if something bad happens, you can just kind of capitalize on that. And now we have Hendrick here, 3 minutes late, but that's fine. Hello, Hendrick, and welcome to the pre-race. And I'm gonna pull up my stats that I have on you at this track and this style of racing. Hold on. So.
Who, me?
Yeah. First of all, Hendrick, how are you doing today?
Who, me? Okay, I'm sorry.
Uh,
Pretty okay.
Alright, so, last season, obviously, you got hit by dirt and sped into the pits. That was pretty bad. But the season before, you won the thing. You won the 500. So, definitely very interesting in that remarks. Hold on. At Daytona, you have, according to my stats, a 4.5 average finish. Only 22 laps led, and you obviously have 1 win. So, how are you gonna approach this race? I feel like that's a better question. How are you gonna approach this race?
Wreck. For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you're pretty good at that.
Well, sometimes. Daytona's hard because usually you're like closer to people like dirt.
Oh, I had another question in my head. Fuck.
Driver, you're in the booth. You can't say that.
I'm allowed to say what I want.
That's.
Wait, can I say whatever I want?
TV networks calling.
Maybe not. Maybe not whatever you want, but mostly.
Dude,
Well, in my
just
past
called.
experiences, racing with dirt, it was interesting to see, like,
What is happening with your mic? Alright, hold on. I have one more question. And I forgot it again. I swear. Damn, I forgot.
Hendrick, is it true that you're dating a guy named Papo?
This is some good.
Come on. Could have picked a better guy.
Alright. Hendrick, you do technically have stuff to do. I'll get in a Discord chat with you, so I can kind of walk you through some stuff, because I won't be able to be in the party. But yeah. So I'll let you get to start the party and do all that stuff. Yeah.
Do I have to stay in the Discord?
Well, I just want to hop in Discord call with you so we can, like, chat in that, and I
Okay.
can like tell you stuff. All right.
How long is that going to take? Could I do that and then start the party?
I mean, you can start the party and then do that if you can.
It's hard to do that on my phone
True, I guess.
because it kicks me off.
I'll just text you what I want and
Okay. And am I running the race?
uh basically like I'll help out with some calls, but you're
Okay.
basically running the race.
I'm riveted.
Alright.
Okay. I'm gonna go start the party.
We'll get on to the next person while Hendrik goes and does his stuff because he has to run the race. I remembered what I was gonna ask Hendrik. Anyways, on to the next person because yeah, if I can find him. Okay. What?
Are you streaming?
Yeah.
Alright.
What the? Why is this just doing that? Alright. Two dog. Who put two? Julian put two dog, and two dog can't even race. Alright, I'm going to ping Guiga. Not John. Join party. Alright. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, Hendrik did over the off season. I do not own Hendrik Motorsports anymore. That went over to Hendrik. I was going to ask him a question about that, but then I forgot it. So that was kind of fun, I guess. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened over the off season that put drivers in different places. Hendrik was one of the guys that didn't really move anywhere compared to pretty much everyone else. There's more than half the field that had driver changes. If Lou doesn't join in a minute, we'll get Zach in here, I guess, then. Oh, no, he did. Good, is your voice share on? Oh, wait a second, actually. Before. Okay. I need to grab my computer, because that's how I'm gonna set certain stuff up. Alright, Gwiga, you here? Alright, is your voice share on, first of all? Alright.
Sure, always. Hey guys.
Alright. So now that is. Alright. So I just mentioned about a minute ago how there's a lot of driver changes over the off season, and you had your own, really. You are now moving from JGR to Hendrik Motorsports. How much of a change how big of a change is that? And do you think that will like affect you or benefit you at we'll just say Daytona?
Oh, well, I think it'll give me a great old benefit. You see, I think Hendrick Nine Chase is also one of the best restrictor plate racers in the field, and to be able to work with that guy who was just so good, and we just have such good chemistry, even when we weren't teammates just last year along, we worked really well together. So I'm really excited to race the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, and it's such an honor.
Yeah. You made some signings over the off season because you also do own FOM. So I wanted to ask you about that. You did decide to sign Boom, and then you also got Slick, who I feel like was a very underrated pickup. So tell me kind of what your thought process is when you pick those two up, and how you think they will do this season.
Well, Slick's just a all-around hard worker, you know. He shows up and he gets the job done. He never destroys any race cars. You know, we brought Dizzy back. He was a great driver for the couple races he was able to show up to. And then I really think Garvin can have a rebound season. You know, he's never won yet, but he's shown so much pace, and I just think he's got something left in the tank for this season. You just gotta keep cool, calm, and collected, or else I'm gonna have to beat the shit out of that little kid.
Where, buddy? We apologize for the language.
Alright. Hoy, do you have any questions for Goya before he goes off to join the party?
Are you gay?
Well, that depends. You see, if you put Tom Brady in front of me in his prime, let's say just like 2017 Tom Brady, I'd probably let him fuck me right up the ass. But any other man, probably not. I'd have to say no. Tom Brady 2017, yes, but that's about all. But who wouldn't let Tom Brady fuck them right up the asshole? Am I right?
I think that's a great way to end off this interview. Alright, thank God that wasn't there. Thank God that was not on stream. Damn. Alright, anyways, thank you for the kind of short interview, Goya, and I'll let you go off to do your own thing. That was actually perfect timing because now Zach is in here for our last interview. This kind of just was blowing by pretty fast. Anyways, Zach, I was also talking with Griga about like driver changes and some people moving cars. You did you really had a lot of stuff happen over the off season. One of the notable things, you moved from the 48 to the 1. Are you excited for that?
Well, to be completely honest, I mean, I work better in like a shorter, not much of a team scenario because I don't know, like no one ever shares things with me like Sebs and all that. So I mean, it makes more sense for me to be more of like a solo act. I mean, I signed John because like he always works with me, so I think it's a great partnership, personally. So yeah. That's my opinion on it.
You mentioned that you signed John. Also, you are now the new owner of Chip Ganassi, knowing because Hendrick moved his stuff over to Hendrick Motorsports, so that allowed you to go in for Chip Ganassi. Are you excited for that? And I mean, you already explained why you signed John, but are you excited for that?
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty excited. I mean, it's small team, but once we get the new game, I'm assuming it would turn into Trackhouse, so that'll be big for the next season. That was one of the reasons why I wanted Chip Ganassi.
Well, you got that. You had a really good season last season, obviously coming out with 8 wins, 2.9 average finish. You broke the most laps led record in a season. You have the current most laps led in general in the league. Do you think you can kind of somewhat back that up at least this season?
Well, why not, right? I mean, I could probably easily do better this season. I mean, I plan to make all the races this time. There's no vacations or anything that are going to be setting me back as for now. And I just plan to try on limiting my mistakes in the races that I might not be doing in like so well. Like, say if I was running second, like I'll lose like hope of the win, and I'll just like start fading back. But I want to eliminate that this season and just try for every position I can.
Hmm. Obviously, you lost the championship by, I think it was 17 points or so. So
12.
definitely any point, well, every point matters. But yeah. Hoy, do you have any questions for Zach?
Nope.
Nope. Alright, we'll let you go and do your stuff. We'll also end the race day stream and start up the actual race stream also. So, Zach, you can go and join the party and do your own thing there. So,
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. Alright. Alright. I'm going to end off this portion of the stream, and then we'll go back and do, we'll go and start up the race stream, so that will happen. Alright. We'll see you guys in like 2-3 minutes.